So, welcome back to Matter of Facts podcast. Apparently, I forgot that I had to re-engage the intro song.
Right. I was waiting for that as well.
Yeah, because the last time I did this, I had it all set up for us to record Thanksgiving wishes, and apparently, I forgot to turn it back on. Boo!
It's fine. Mostly professional.
Not that professional.
It's all right.
But, I can. Matter of fact, Nick, you can entertain everybody for just a brief moment, and I'll turn this stuff back on right now before I forget about it.
Oh, that's actually probably a very wise idea. As you guys can see behind me, and probably from our Thanksgiving recording, don't know if that had video. I moved my gun safe. Holy Christ, was that thing heavy, even without the guns in it. Even when I took the doors off. Ended up using the old grab the bunch of 3/4 inch round stock. Ended up shoving that under the safe to roll that, to push that across the floor. Fantastic heavy equipment or machinery or general heavy stuff moving technique right there. Probably likely also what built the pyramids, believe it or not. Rolling stuff on wooden logs. In this case, steel logs, but
Are we sure it wasn't aliens?
I am certain it was not aliens, regardless of what the man with the hair has to say about it. I just,
Oh, that man became a meme in one hairdo. It was amazing.
He did. I mean, it was an amusing show, don't get me wrong. Especially if you played the drinking game version where every time they blamed something on aliens, you drank.
That sounds like alcohol poisoning with extra steps.
It didn't take that many steps. The episode was only like 25 minutes.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's do admin work now that I've unscrewed the first batch of admin work. Because
we'll remember that next time.
Well, we won't have to remember it because I fixed it.
Already remembered it.
Although now I'm wondering if I think it's fixed, but when I set up in the next stream, it won't be fixed, and then we'll go through this whole exercise again.
We should set up a test.
I should set up a test, like a small ode to semi-professionalism. But anyway, Matter of Facts podcast, least professional podcast you're going to watch tonight or listen to or anything else. But if you hate money and you like knuckleheads, you should become a patron and support the show and keep the wheels on the bus.
Yes.
Somewhat. At least 3 of them. 3 wheels and a big enough head of steam, you keep rolling.
That's true. That's true.
If you'd like to support the show in another way and support a small business, you can get merch at the Southern Gals. And one of these days, we're actually going to sit down with Chris and his wife and discuss all the t-shirt ideas that we keep on saying, oh, we should put that on a shirt. And then I forget about it literally within 45 seconds.
Yeah. Well, we're adults with jobs. You have a child. We're busy people too.
You have a child too. Yours just has 4 legs and hair.
Yeah, but she mostly ignores me.
Oh, just like my cat.
Oh, well, there you go then.
And my teenager sometimes, depending on her mood.
Well, teenagers will do that sometimes. I remember being a teenager.
I was much less moody than my teenager, though.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I probably was just as moody. I don't know. I was kind of an asshole as a teenager.
Every time I tell mine that she shouldn't use her powers of sarcasm against me, she reminds me that I gave them to her. So it's my fault.
With great sarcasm comes great jokes.
Yeah. Yeah, that.
I mean, she's going to really need that, especially like if she ever works with people.
Yeah, I mean, truth be told, she's something else. She can definitely hang with the big boys, put it that way.
Good. Then she'll be able to handle herself. That's all that matters. All
right. And since I keep being reminded to do capitalism better, code MOF at checkout at Disaster Coffee. It'll get you a couple of % off your order. I've honestly just got through blowing through the last of the K-Cups that I bought for my wife's school to donate that they wound up not using because they don't have a Keurig. So they came to work with me.
Nice.
I wasn't upset.
No, that's a win.
Yep. But if you like coffee pods, if you like ground coffee, whole bean, or if you like green coffee beans, want to roast it yourself, like the 35 pounds of never going to run out back there on the shelf, you should check out Disaster Coffee.
Indeed. Which I will actually be doing. I finally remembered to cancel my reoccurring orders of coffee. So you can thank my wife for that. So I will be ordering some Disaster Coffee to try this weekend.
Just remember, if you forget the promo code, I will find out and I will harass you.
I will definitely forget to use the promo code that I force you to bring up every day.
I think I did that to Raggle, and I know I've done that to other people. So, because I'm a company officer, every time an order gets placed on the site, I get a little notification. So-and-so bought this, that, and the other, and blah, blah, blah. And it tells me if they used a promo code. And if I recognize your name and you didn't use the promo code, you end up on the naughty list.
It's just me trying to help you do capitalism better. Some of that money goes to charity, right?
Yeah, there's a chunk that goes to charity every year.
Well, there you go. Call it an extra donation.
I guess we'll consider that. Anyway, topic in honor of Black Friday, and we should probably talk about Black Friday ever so briefly before we get to the topic.
Oh yeah, I saw that too.
Oh, what are you talking about? Because I know it. I'm not sure where you're going now.
People afterpaid almost $1 billion worth of their Black Friday shopping.
Oh Jesus Christ! I saw that.
Yeah, I thought that's where you were going, bud.
There's a banner for that later in the show.
Oh, good.
But ouch! I don't think I have to tell y'all at this point how I feel about financing stuff on freaking debt, especially if it's like small purchases you should be saving your money for and stuff that isn't absolutely necessary. But the idea that we are like a couple of years ago, this trend started where people were financing their summer vacations and they were not done paying them off by the next summer. And that scared me a little bit. But now the idea that people
are way more common than you think. It is, man. You know how many people pay for vacations on credit cards and they never catch back up?
Nick, you're not making me feel better.
I'm not supposed to.
But I'd appreciate it every now and then. It'd be like a little treat.
I'll tell you what, whenever that assault weapons ban gets through, I'll text you. Whenever they repeal that, I'll text you for some good news.
Oh, so put that on layaway with everybody's Christmas presents, in other words.
Yeah.
Thanks, Nick. I knew I could count on you.
Christmas might come eventually.
Yes, Raggle. It's expensive this Black Friday of which you speak. Although I will say that
doesn't have to be.
It really doesn't have to be. And I'll be honest with you, I go. Thank you, Rachel. Please remind him to use the promo code.
You will. This is why we have wives. They make sure our life functions well.
Or at all.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. We'll get to that banner in about 15 or 20 minutes. I was actually going to talk about some unintentional Black Friday shopping I did because I've been amassing things getting ready for Santa's Little Helper, aka Rebel, to finally ship out the Vicarian, which should be shipping
soon.
Should be really soon. I don't know if anybody that's watching right now jumped in on that pre-sale. All the Vicarians are sold. I think he's still got a couple of apothecaries and a handful of gizmo gliders, but
last time I talked to him, it was less than a dozen apothecaries or something like that.
I don't know how many he ordered. I mean, I don't know how many he had in production this time around, but
lots.
I know I ordered one of everything and 2 gizmo gliders.
Nice.
And a shirt. And then I hit the tip button because as cheap as Rebel's selling all this stuff, I thought he deserved a little extra.
Yeah, that's fair.
But I have been ordering things because little here's and there's because the plate carrier I have is this ancient old Condor, which is serviceable. It does the job, but it's old school.
Yeah, but that's these things. If you buy them and they're any kind of reasonable quality, I'm not talking like your Amazon special Temu crap. It's nylon. Until you abrade through it or rip it, or tear
or
the
rip the
stitches
stitching
out.
out of it.
Yeah, but then you can just put the stitching right back in. That's not that big of a deal. But until you abrade the fabric away to uselessness or leave it out in the sun until it degrades, it's going to be fine. It's not like it goes bad.
No, but a lot of the way I set that carrier up was like very typical of
Early post GWAT.
not even that, honestly, because like, okay, so since we're gonna have this discussion, like, let me draw y'all a picture. When Nick says early GWAT, the first plate carrier I wore while I was enlisted, we'd had no molly pouches for it whatsoever. So we literally put the plate carrier on, which jacked you up like Stay Puft Marshmallow Man because it was so bulky.
Didn't it have soft armor built into it too?
Debatable. Supposedly it was supposed to catch spall, but it wasn't like 3A or anything.
Okay.
But you did have hard, level 3 plate ceramic plates in it. But we didn't have molly pouches or anything or placards weren't a thing back then.
Right.
So we literally took our LBE and like tied that onto the molly so that you'd put your body armor on with with your suspenders and your pistol belt and everything coming with it, and then you would do up your plate carrier and then snap your belt. It was the most early GWAT hood rat throw stuff together, make it work scenario you've ever seen. So needless to say, the way I set up
you were right in the transition between like the Vietnam style stuff being phased out finally.
Fortunately, we did not have forget what the acronym was, but yeah, the stuff that was left over from Vietnam, we didn't see that. We saw the newer generation of it, but it was all M81 Woodland camo and we're in DCUs. fun times.
That's about right.
Yeah, similar to how we were driving green Humvees through the desert with tan doors and tan armor packages. We were a beautiful disaster.
Hey, it works, man.
But when I set up that first armor package, it was like, it was a mag shingle straight to the front. It wasn't on a placard. It was like your very typical Condor med pouch that just snaps straight to the molly on the back. It was very typical of the time. And in the intervening years, a lot of things have kind of come and gone. And I saw an opportunity with this Vicarian to like, build it a little more modern.
Yeah.
So
it's worthwhile. I mean, if you're going to be completely starting from scratch, you might as well take advantage of the modern tech.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that'll be its own episode. But as far as Black Friday, like I was telling Nick before we started, like these things have been showing up. So I got an antenna extender and a whole cattail antenna because I need to plan for comms on this carrier. Some BNC antennas so I can quickly snap these off of this radio to run it in a pouch on the carrier. Let's see here, dangler pouch. More modern plates, just a lot of little things, a lot of things that all need to come together so that this setup kind of works the way I want it to.
Yeah. Did you go with the ultralights or did you go with the just the standard ceramics for the plates?
I didn't go with the ultralights. I got the so I fell into the cop of wanting to be RoboCop, so I got the level 4 multi-hit rated.
Oh yeah, that's what mine are. I mean, the cost difference was like when I bought them was like $45 different between single hit rated and multi hit rated. So I was like,
yeah, I think they're like half a pound heavier per plate or 3/4 of a pound heavier. I mean, but level 4 plates are not exactly like, featherweight to begin with. So
they're the same weight as my level 3 steel plates.
That's not saying a lot though.
No, but it made a very minimal difference in the thickness of my rig. It upgraded my armor's defensive properties very significantly. And it cost me no ergonomics for weight. So it was a win-win. I mean, at that point, although I have been looking at the ultralight polymer plates, those look very promising.
I just need to see a set like tested to destruction before I can put any weight behind those polymer plates.
I've been talking with a gun dealer around me that occasionally gets armor samples to destructively test, and we test them with my 300 Win Mag loads.
As you do.
As I do, which turns out you can get a lot spicier than off-the-shelf 300 Win Mag ammo. But
yeah.
You can get a lot spicier, especially when you start with turning up your own monolithic solid copper projectiles.
Yeah, so just catch a couple of these before we get to topic. Jeff, the plates I had in Iraq were actually ceramic.
Yeah, they would have been the early single-hit ceramics, weren't they?
Yeah,
I mean, they were technically multi-hit, but single-use.
Multi-hit your ass. I was told by numerous supply sergeants. I was told by multiple supply sergeants, if you take any kind of a hit, even if you drop the things on the ground, if the corner feels a little crunchy afterwards, you junk the plates. Like, that's how fragile this first. We're talking about 2004.
Yeah, it's very early tech. Yeah,
late 2003, early 2004. I mean, there's been a lot of advancements in armor over the last 20 years.
Yeah, definitely.
And gotta update my plates to ceramic polymer. When I get this carrier in, it will probably be time for us to talk about that. And probably so in the process of doing all this, I'm actually moving some stuff around so that I have some of my medical stuff on my battle belt, which I haven't previously. The only thing I had on was a tourniquet.
You never had an IFAK on your battle belt?
Nope.
Even when I shot 3-gun matches, I always kept an IFAK on my belt.
Nope.
Just because, man, do I not trust certain people.
Nope. I had it. So what I originally ran was I ran just tourniquet on the belt, and then my armor had an IFAK, and my chest rigs all have IFAKs.
Sure.
So the idea was, but now I'm in the position with some of the changes I'm making where I can take some of that medical equipment, put it on the belt, have more on the carrier, and like spread things out a little bit, not just have the one big pouch with the red cross on it.
Yeah. Some of the matches I shot, they did not like you running plate carriers. So I just always defaulted to my full IFAK on my belt.
Yeah. I don't know. Lots of irons in the fire. And I'm going to do what I always do, which is try it
to destruction.
Well, try it, run drills with it, probably find stuff I don't like, move it around, change it. I mean, like I always do.
As you should.
As you should. You should always test your gear outside of a two-way range.
Yes.
That is the wrong time to be testing your stuff.
Well, yeah.
No, that's not for testing. That's for live fire.
Yeah.
You should be doing all of your T&E outside of a two-way range.
Yeah.
All right, now topic. So I happened across this weird thing as I was crawling the internet, mostly Reddit, which probably won't be a huge surprise to anybody. But people are calling it the Buy Nothing Rebellion. And this I found interesting. So the idea here is that this isn't like people saying, I am too poor to go Black Friday shopping or Christmas shopping. This is people making an intentional decision saying, I am not buying crap, period. Discussion over.
Fair enough.
Yeah. And that caught my interest because, like, I have my own gripes about the intensely consumerist society we live in. I have my own gripes about needless wasting of money on just junk. I have my own gripes about financing, which we'll get to in about 10 or 15 minutes. If anybody wants to hear a Phil rant, you might get one tonight because that always drives me freaking crazy. I have my own gripes about all that. Like I would love to say that like I like a minimalist lifestyle, but the truth of the matter is like I buy lots of stuff, but I'd like to think it's like functional stuff. It's not ornamental. It's stuff that does stuff.
There is a difference between buying things to do a specific job or to suit a specific purpose and just buying things.
For the 15-second dopamine rush of woohoo, new stuff.
Right. Exactly. So
yeah. So that was kind of where this whole thing really caught my attention was like you have these two chunks of people. You have the people that are literally doing this to protest consumerism, some to protest capitalism, which I think is a little bit silly, but whatever. But then you have this other group that's bound up in the same movement. They're saying, I can barely afford to eat. I'm not buying stuff at these inflated prices. Like you find this really interesting cross section of people who are partaking in this, or who are espousing this movement, that are basically saying, like, look, I would buy that widget for $5, but it's not worth 15, so I'm just refusing to buy it.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I mean,
go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say, like, personally, I've been screaming for that for years. Like, every time I see another financial headline about the fact that, like, the median car price is at $40,000 or $45,000, or it's going up, or interest rates are 7%, I'm just like, when's the consumer going to say enough's enough? I'm not buying it at that price, and just refuse.
Look, I think I've made the exact same argument with the need with these subscriptions for everything.
Oh, Jesus hell.
The subscriptions for your heated seats in your BMW, the subscriptions for the app that remote starts your BMW, the subscriptions to a million different streaming services.
I heard about a manufacturer.
Go ahead.
I heard about a manufacturer recently that was floating the idea of having a subscription to use your cruise control.
No. Just no.
Look,
it's a basic feature of a car that has existed since before there were reliable computers driving cars.
Since they were vacuum controlled.
Yeah, exactly. Vacuum cruise control was fine. You didn't need any computer to do that. And you know, I've been arguing for a long time that the reason why trucks are as expensive as they are is because you fucking idiots keep buying them. Like, every one of you jackasses that's buying a 4-wheel drive 2500 lifted heavy duty pickup for your office job that you go get groceries to, that you have twice in its life taken to Home Depot, you're the reason why people that actually use their trucks can't get one for under $90,000 or $100,000 now. Like, the market for pickups used to be work vehicles and people that owned large properties.
Dude, I remember I remember the times when an extended cab truck was a rarity.
Oh, like, yeah.
If you saw a truck on the road, it was a single cab.
Mm-hmm. You can't buy a single cab truck from a lot of manufacturers now.
I'm not sure if Toyota completely phased them out, but I know that just amongst the Tacoma population, single cabs, like, you could almost get a premium if you have a single cab 4x4 Toyota pickup, because they are not common anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But people that really go out and wheel them and get them in this shit, they like that because they have a shorter wheelbase.
Raggle says there was a plan to build advertising into your radio. Whether it was in use or not, it would play ads while you're driving. I will rip that shit out the fucking dashboard.
You know what? I've been wiring up aftermarket crap in freaking cars for a lot of years. That wouldn't even make it home before I would have it ripped out of the dash.
No. Yeah, if I find out my radio's playing ads when I have it turned off, the hell with that. The car's going back. I will buy shit boxes from now on.
Oh, how far are we away that once they have ads on the radio that you have to listen to an ad before you can start your car in the morning?
I guarantee it would be right behind it. It would be a software update away. That's all it would be.
So I'm going to drive my 2015 Tacoma until I die.
I keep telling people I have a 10-year-old pickup. It's going to be a 20-year-old pickup before I feel like getting rid of it, unless the engine explodes and I can't get a new one.
I was about to say, at this point, dude, I'd stuff another 1GR and a fresh transmission underneath that truck and just keep rocking and rolling. I mean, hell, I'm going to rebuild the whole front end suspension next weekend.
Nice.
It's got reasonably new brakes on. It's got 170,000 miles. Like, the transmission and it has been flushed and serviced. The engine runs like a top. Why would I get rid of the damn thing? Mm-hmm. It does everything I want it to.
Exactly.
And it doesn't complain or play ads for you while it does it.
Truth.
Anyway. Okay. Are we ready for the rant?
Go for it.
You want the rant.
I do.
You've
I
been
like
waiting
the
for
rant.
this.
I like a nice rant.
Quit financing your crap.
$1 billion this Black Friday so far.
$1 billion in Afterpay. And understand what I'm saying. Like, putting stuff on a credit card is catastrophically stupid already. Unless you're going to immediately pay it off at the end of the month. Well, let's be honest, most people aren't doing that because everybody's up to their freaking eyeballs in debt. But putting it on freaking Afterpay with an effective interest rate exceeding 60% if you miss a couple of payments, like, tell me how fast that adds up for you.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking right now, and it looks like the average Afterpay APY is in the low 30s for percentage. So $1 billion at a 30% interest rate. That's how much money these companies stand to make.
And they're unregulated.
Entirely unregulated.
That's the part that makes me the most nauseated. Klarna, Afterpay, ShopPay, whatever.
You can have a credit score of 0.
Yes, they are completely unregulated. The Jesus Christ. And here's the thing of it. On the one hand, I am like as red-blooded capitalist as the next person. I think you should have the legal right to make awful financial decisions and screw yourself for life if that's what, puts lead in your pencil in the morning. But then on the exact opposite hand, my libertarianism gets tested so hard when we start talking about this stuff because most of the people that are getting themselves in debt with this stuff aren't, I don't want to say smart because not smart sounds.
Well, they're not educated. They're not informed.
They're not financially sophisticated enough to understand the thing they're being offered. Like, this is one of those moments where I get twisted up because on the one hand, I am like, make bed. If you want to snort heroin, you just don't do it around me. Like, libertarian to the max. But on the other hand, I'm like, but this is almost like giving a kid on a playground cocaine. They have no earthly idea what they're sticking up their nose or how bad it is for them.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, look, I don't like large, heavy-handed government regulations either.
But
the federal government also took charge of education.
And what have happened with educational standards since?
Oh, it's gotten far worse. It always does. Everything the government touches gets worse. Every single thing they touch always gets worse. But I would say if the federal government is taking responsibility for education, especially financial education, because parents aren't really doing it. They should do it, but
most parents don't know either.
Right. They don't know either. And fair enough. You can't teach somebody what you don't know, but if you have kids, you should probably look into financial information. But being that the federal government is the one in charge of educating people on how finances work, because they are the ones in charge of managing what education needs there are, I suppose the only argument at this point is either regulating them like a credit card, which is kind of what these Afterpay situations are. They function almost exactly like a credit card, or regulated as a loan. Because we already have debt regulations. We don't need new ones. We just need people to get their heads out of their asses and stop saying that it's different because it's Afterpay. Well, so's a goddamn credit card. So's a mortgage.
So let me clip back a couple of Jeff comments before I round that out. Because I have the way to fix this problem. It'll never happen, but it would fix it in one shot.
The gold standard.
Huh?
The gold standard.
No.
Stop creating more money.
Well, but no. So Jeff said, didn't 2 companies already go under due to that?
I hope so.
I don't think they went under. I know that Klarna is currently suing the hell out of a lot of high balance holders because they're just refusing to pay back their money, which brings us to how many of these people have zero plan to pay it back, though. So here's the thing. I would argue most of those people don't have a plan.
No, they definitely don't.
I think what Jeff was really asking was how many of them don't plan to pay it back?
Like, are actively planning to not pay it.
Yes,
I'm sure there is a percentage of them, and they've been getting away with it for a while. Because these places lost quite a considerable number of millions of dollars last year. I can't remember what it was, but it was a lot. I'll look it up.
Oh, Klarna has written millions off their balance sheet as a result of uncollectible debt, to the point where they've started sending lawyers after these people and summoning them to court. But here's the thing. Here's the way to fix loans, credit cards, Klarna, the whole 9 yards. Here's how to fix everything. Matter of fact, here's how we could also fix the U.S. automakers so we never have to bail them out again. Here's how we could fix your big investment banks and, your Bear Stearns and your Lehman Brothers. We could fix all that. Never be a problem again. You ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
It's called consequences.
I'll be damned.
So what you do is you lay down the law and tell them that the federal government is never again going to bail your company out, period, end discussion. Not happening. There is no more too big to fail. There is no free money. There is no we're guaranteeing your debts. None of that nonsense. There is no, by the way, getting out of it by going into bankruptcy.
But Phil, how would we get all of our big corporate donations?
Here's the cool part. You wouldn't.
Yeah,
you would actually work for the American people. Concept, I know. But you do all that and you tell these companies, you can play as fast and loose as you want with the rules, but when it blows up in your face, every single person who lost money gets to bring you, the CEO and the board, into court individually, personally. No hiding behind the company, no hiding behind the LLC, no hiding behind fiduciary responsibility and lawyers. You get to go to court personally and you get to face down millions of people who lost their life savings because you were an idiot.
You would essentially be revoking all of the limited liability corporation regulations.
If you don't want regulation, then you don't get the safety net. And if you want the safety net, then you get the regulations. And now I can make every single one of those entities opt in or out. And if you opt in, here are your regulations. Shut up and play by the rules.
I suppose you could
don't like it,
like that.
Then you could go out on your own and do it your own way and libertarian it to the max. But if you're going to do that, you don't get a safety net, which means when it blows up in your face because you wanted 2008 all over again, you get to freaking eat it. But the problem we have now is that we have entities trying to play fast and loose to make lots of money, but they want the safety net anyway. And that's where I have a problem. We can't have both one foot on each side of the fence. It's either you be libertarian or we do capitalism with a safety net.
I think that's a pretty reasonable take. Do you want to know what Klarna has for uncollectible debt as of quarter one, for just quarter one, 2025?
Okay, let me guess. I'm going to say 117 million.
99 million. They're actually doing better than you thought. They're only uncollectible on 99 million, which is wild. Let's see. 137 million from 2024 in total.
Nice.
So they're getting close. They've definitely exceeded their 2024 losses.
I wonder. Jeff says consequences are racist. I'm okay with that. Your terms are acceptable to me. I suppose. Anyway, so yes, please quit financing crap you can live without. If you are not going to literally die, starve to death, or be homeless without it, then you should put it off until you have saved the money to pay for it.
Yeah.
And if that means you have to tell your significant others, your loved ones, and everybody else, sorry, the money's a little tight, that's called being an adult. I've done it to my wife. She's done it to me. It's a thing. We both survive. We're still married happily. Like it works out.
You know, we have this discussion with our families every year that me and my wife lately we've been in the last few years paring back how much we do around the holidays as far as parties, gifts, and everything. It was just getting to be too much. Phil, I'm sure you've experienced this. Any guy out there that's married, I'm sure you've experienced this too. Well, me and my wife, up until recently, were very fortunate, and all of our grandparents up until the last couple of years were still alive and still around and still wanted to do all the holidays. So that's her immediate family, my immediate family, 2 sets of grandparents from each side all wanted to do Christmas.
Oh my.
Right. Now, even if you're doing just like a grab bag gift exchange, that's a lot of gifts to, number one, find the time to buy, and number two, to pay for buying. It's a lot. And we decided that just for the mental load it was taking up, that we were going to pare down to just buying gifts for our immediate family and just the limited selection of that we do. And you know what? It made things more enjoyable. It made the party more enjoyable because we weren't trying to race around at the last minute and remember which gift goes to which house. Because sometimes we had a gift for, say, like, I think one year I had my father-in-law at 3 houses from 3 different grab bags. Now, every house has a different limit on how much you're not supposed to spend over. Some of those houses were significantly higher than others. So, did you oops and bring too expensive of a gift? Or did you oops and bring the gift for the wrong house? Like, come on. It just got to be a ton.
Look, if there's one thing Americans really excel at, other than, tearing up people who mess with their boats, it's overcomplicating something that's supposed to be fun.
Yes.
I have consistently told my wife every single year, and she gets aggravated every time I say it, and I don't care, that she could tie a bow around herself, and I've gotten everything I want for Christmas. I literally want and need nothing.
Yep.
Here's the thing. I'm an adult. I buy stuff when I want it after the retirement, the savings accounts, and everything else are plumped up.
Yeah.
So when we get to December, it's not like I have like a Christmas list. I'm just like, I am a pretty content dude. I've got my wife. I've got my daughter. We're comfortable. We get to spend time together. I have a decent work-life balance. I don't need anything, and I don't want much.
Yeah. I have a hard time every year. In fact, this year, 90% of what I put on my Christmas list is disposable tooling for my lathe.
That's fair.
It's consumable. I'm going to wear it out. I've already worn out most of what I have. I need new. But people are like, well, that's not a fun Christmas gift. Bullshit. I'm going to have a shitload of fun with that lathe this winter because I'm not going to be doing shit outside because it's cold. It was like -12 this morning.
Oh, that's just gross. It was 38 degrees outside this morning, and I was not huh?
That's a balmy 38.
No, not when it's like just finished raining and it's like 95% humidity.
That's fine.
It was the kind of cold and wet that had all my bones hurting. It was not fun.
Yeah, you definitely shouldn't come here.
You don't have to work that hard to talk me out of it, Nick.
Aside from just the Illinois-ness of it,
you would have a hard
time in the weather.
It's very Illinois up there, and it snows. So, sorry. You're not making a case.
In November.
Oh, no.
Sometimes it snows in October.
I will say, though, that this is the time of year where my wife revises her plans to move like to Arkansas, and she's like, maybe we should go further south.
Well, that's fair.
Yeah, but then she's down here in the summer and it's like, I want to move where it snows year round. So we'll figure it out.
It's hard to strike a balance. There's probably like 3 places on the globe where it's a comfortable 70 most of the year. And they're probably all full of people you don't want to deal with.
They are absolutely full of people I don't want to deal with.
Well, yeah, because why would they leave? It's nice there.
My boy Raggle knows where I'm coming from. Yeah, that's a hell to the no, Nick.
It's not even that cold. It wasn't even in like the -30s yet.
No.
It's
We're gonna
fine.
move on. So, what do people buy that they do not need?
Sweet God, souvenirs.
Souvenirs was not something on my list. Although I kind of have the next best thing to souvenirs, which is collectibles. Labubu, Beanie Babies, and Troll Dolls.
What is a Labubu?
It is a Korean Beanie Baby.
Okay. I understand these terms.
Yeah. I mean, you remember Beanie Baby, right?
Oh, I do. My grandma worked at a collectibles store at the time, and we were all given a large number of them.
So you remember Beanie Babies, you remember the Troll Dolls. Well, Labubu is just another version of something for people to waste retarded amounts of money on.
Okay. Let me guess. They make limited runs of each one. They will never make that pattern again, ever. And they're definitely going to appreciate in value in the next 10 years.
Yes. Almost certainly not.
Great. So the same promises from all of the other ones.
And the blank box, this one adds in the blank box model.
Oh, so it's a prize box model. It's a gachapon game.
So you wind up having to buy like 20 of them to make sure you get the one you really want. Dude, this stuff is like freaking cocaine for friggin' like elder Gen Xers and boomers. I say that, I mean, there's millennials buying these stupid things by the bucket too, which just
I'm sure there are. I mean, there's stupid people in every generation, but like, it's like the like the commemorative plates that your grandparents always used to buy, or commemorative shot glasses, stuff like that. It's like, are you going to use them? I've not been watching South Park lately. I really should.
I haven't watched South Park in a while, but the fact that they had the featured Labubu's on them does not shock me at all. No, like the only thing that I will say that my family collects, and I will do it unashamedly, is Christmas ornaments.
We do the same thing when we go to a new place. Usually, we'll pick one up.
Yeah, every state park or every trip we go on, I look for a patch to add to my roof.
Sure.
And every time we go on a trip together as a family, we go look for a Christmas ornament, so that every Christmas, as we're decorating the tree, we're kind of like reliving all those trips we've been on.
I think that's reasonable because you're number one, you're getting a use out of it. You're getting a use out of it. Like the things that drive me crazy, I think the most are, like I've said, like the commemorative plates. You're never going to eat off it. So all it's doing is adding more dusting to the house chores. That's really all it is. Great. You've got plates hanging up on the wall that you now need to clean a couple times a year and hope you don't drop and break.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, coffee mugs. Raggle, I am married to a gal that works in the education system, just like Phil. Phil, how many coffee mugs come home around Christmas time every year?
I don't think any of her students watch this show, so I can say that a number of them get regifted.
Yeah. Regifted, chucked right in the trash. My God. I mean, when we got married, we got gifted, I want to say conservatively a dozen coffee mugs that match the plate. You know, like the stuff you get when you get
the pretty
married.
Ones.
Yeah, I mean they're decent coffee mugs. They're not the ones I prefer. The base is too narrow, and they tend to tip over and dump hot coffee on your lap. Only took one time of that before I stopped using those things. But we have 2 people in this house that drink coffee. We both pretty much use the same coffee mug every single day. We do not need a dozen coffee mugs.
Yes, you do.
No, even when we're hosting company, we do not need a dozen coffee mugs. Because most of the time it's in the afternoon. No, I got plenty of friends. I got more than enough friends.
Wait. What do you mean it's in the afternoon? Like you don't drink coffee in the afternoon?
My friends don't. They're weird.
What the hell?
Yeah, but we'll be
Why are they your friends?
Well, you know, because they're weird.
But no, Nick, there's different kinds of weird. There's likes to run around in the woods wearing night vision weird.
Right, yeah.
And then there's Warhammer 40K weird.
Yep, got a couple
and then there's
of those.
Don't drink coffee in the damn afternoon weird, and that's not a good kind of weird.
So it turns out most of my friends have ADHD and they're medicated, so they don't feel the need to drink caffeine anymore.
I'm medicated too with coffee.
Right. Me too.
So like what they need to do is get rid of the amphetamines and drink coffee, and they'll be fine. It'll work.
That's what I said. Stop microdosing meth. Start macrodosing caffeine.
Yes, works perfect.
It does. I mean, sometimes I drink coffee
Raggle's
till
on my
5
side.
o'clock at night.
Wrong weird, Nick.
You've never played Warhammer with my friends. It's quite a good time.
Raggle, you cannot borrow my night vision, but I can help you. I can help you out buying a set, and then we can go be weird together.
We can be weird at night.
That's the best kind of weird. See, that's a good kind of weird. Not drinking coffee in the afternoon, not a good weird.
I don't know. A lot of them don't drink either. Can't get them to have a beer with me. They're all on the whole alcohol's bad for you kick, and coffee's bad for you.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Everything's bad for me. Every single product I buy at the store comes with a cancer label from California. If California had stopped giving people cancer, we wouldn't have to have all these warning labels.
Listen, everything is bad for you. If you don't believe me, Nick, how many people do you know breathe oxygen?
All of them so far.
How many people do you know are going to live forever?
Well, at least one that I can think of. I'm pretty sure my realtor is some kind of hag.
Okay, then oxygen is 99.9999% lethal.
Yeah.
Breathe enough of it, it'll kill you. Don't believe me? Check in with me in a couple years. You'll find out. Anyway, yeah, so collectibles, and also I had to put status symbols because I was thinking of a good catch-all term for things, but like, there's people that buy sports cars, and never drive them. There's people that buy RVs and they spend more time parked than they do, actually like in a campsite doing anything. There's people that upgrade into a house 3 times as big as they can legitimately make use of because they just have to have the thing that impresses their neighbor. It really comes down to people spend a lot of money on bullcrap that they don't need, trying to impress people they probably don't like anyway.
Yeah, it's oh shoot, that was almost a direct quote of a line from Fight Club. Buying things you don't want or you don't need to impress people you don't like with money you don't have.
That.
Yeah. Okay, that's fair. We may need coffee mugs when you don't inevitably come visit because it's snowing in Illinois.
I didn't say I wouldn't come visit, just not when it's snowing.
True. We'd have to have a discussion on what you can or can't bring with you as far as the state is concerned.
Why does the state have to know I'm in the state?
They don't. I'm just saying, hide it. I'm not your mom or your lawyer. Do what you want.
So we just need to make sure we know what the tensile strength of zip ties is so we can attach things to the frame of the truck in such a way that is difficult to find and plausibly deniable.
Yes. Always a good decision.
Hang on a second.
He does make a point.
Why do you use a cutter on a rounded cigar? You're supposed to use a punch. So I'll be honest. Okay. Now, it should come as little surprise to anybody that's known me for more than 15 milliseconds that I'm definitely on the spectrum someplace. We don't know if it's like way over this end or way, way over that end. Probably that. But I have a thing about texture, about a lot of things like food texture, clothing texture. You'll sometimes see me start doing this a lot because like my shirt's rubbing me on the neck and it just drives me nuts. And one of the things that has always driven me is the feeling of smoking a cigar that's been punched. I cannot describe to you why. I don't know why. It's just something about it just gives me a little bit of a neck shiver. So
interesting.
I understand completely and totally that you are supposed to punch a rounded cigar and you only clip something like a torpedo. I get that. Unfortunately, this is America and I can do what the hell I want.
True. I mean, I joined a cigar and pipe club in college because why would you not? And the man at the cigar shop that taught me about cigars, he never said anything about it, and he owned a cigar shop. So I usually cut a V-notch in mine with a pocket knife because I'm too lazy to carry a clipper.
Yeah, and if I'm ever someplace where I don't have my clipper, that is my next option, is just take a pocket knife and V-notch the back of it. It works. But I can do a V-notch. I cannot do a punch. I couldn't even explain to you why it's different, just that it's different, and it just doesn't work.
It's just one of those things that bugs you. So why not avoid it?
Yeah. But anyway, here's one you'll appreciate. Cheap crap, because it'll break and then you have to buy it twice.
Yeah.
I was told by my dad a very, very long time ago, quote, Rabelais are not rich enough to buy cheap tools because you end up having to buy them twice. Although my old man was a craftsman convert and they're not exactly like, super tough. So
to be fair, at the time he was probably buying most of his craftsman tools, they were very good quality tools. They've been enshittified.
I mean, I've still got a lot of craftsman hand tools from back in the day that I bought when I was a teenager, and they're still like I have abused them, beat on them, whooped their ass, and they're just, thank you, sir, may I have another?
Yeah. Rago makes a good point. Harbor Freight is good enough most of the time. Harbor Freight's hand tools lately, their quality is really, really good.
Surprisingly,
Especially
yes.
Their Paramount series for wrenches and sockets. Holy crap, are those things great. Like, we've got a bunch of them at work, mostly because we kept losing the nice ones that the boss would buy. So we started buying those, and we haven't lost them, but they still work 5 or 7 years later, which is pretty cool. But what are you going to do?
But yeah, not just talking about tools, but like tools, shoes.
Yeah.
I am a frugal person. I like a deal. I refuse to buy cheap shoes for 2 reasons. I am 43 years old. I have been very mean to my body over the years.
Mm-hmm.
And my remaining life is too freaking short to walk around in screwed up shoes and make my feet hurt for no freaking reason than trying to save $20. I will buy the expensive shoes, the expensive hiking boots. I will buy the expensive socks. I'll buy the expensive underwear. If it touches my skin, I want it to caress me like the hand of an angel and not feel bad about it. No. Because buying cheap clothing and cheap shoes, it wears out 3 times as fast.
Yeah, when I was buying, and this is not to shit on Wolverine boots, because they're a decent boot. Okay, they are. They're decent.
But it's not a Red Wing.
I am walking on steel chips, concrete, and cutting oil. The soles of Wolverine boots do not hold up well in that environment. Red Wing makes boots with soles specifically tailored to machinists. They're That's fantastic. Handy. I've had the last 2 pair of boots that I bought since 2018, 2019, and I'm still on that 2 pairs of boots where I was going through a pair of Wolverines not quite more than once a year, like every 10 to 11 months, so a little bit more than once a year.
So I remember when I was still working my way through college, I was working on flight line. So I was a aircraft handler, refueler, ramp guy, the whole 9 yards. I used to keep 2 pairs of Doc Martin Industrials, and I would burn a pair down in a year.
Yeah, I believe that.
Although, to be fair, I'm out there in the sun, in the rain, in the sleet. Not really snow down here horribly often, but like there were times I was on the ramp and it was 28 degrees with a 15-mile-an-hour wind, and it's sleeting on the ramp. Yeah. So your boots are getting wet, which is not great for the leather. No, usually what killed a set of boots for me was that the leather on the toe would actually kind of like disbond from the steel toe. And then you'd get a little rip in it and it would just peel itself back.
Yeah, they'll do that. Jeff says his Red Wings only lasted him 6 months. Jeff, it's entirely going to depend on which Red Wings you bought, man. Because there are Red Wings, and Red Wings. And if you're not buying a sole type that is appropriate for your environment, then they're not going to last. It's possible the soles on yours were too soft. It's possible that you didn't have the oil resistant version of those soles if you had certain kinds of oils and solvents around. And there's some solvents that are just going to kill boots. There are. I mean, they're a consumable item. But I don't know. I'm on concrete in a machine shop 40 hours a week plus, and I rotate through a pair. Every other day I switch boots. So they've lasted me now 5 years. Call it 5-6 years.
That's not awful at all.
No, for 2 boots. Yeah, they're probably around 3, with tax, $250, $300 a pair. So you're talking $600 in boots, so $100 a year. I was I think at the time when I was buying Wolverines, they were $140, and I was going through them every 10 to 11 months.
Yeah.
So the math works out in your favor when you buy better. It doesn't have to be Red Wings. Buy the boots that last the best for what you're doing. That's all I'm saying. Same with gloves.
Oh God, yes. Nah, I was going to throw something in there, but that's not even fair.
Fair enough.
I was going to say don't buy cheap safety glasses, but cheap safety glasses are actually still fairly useful, but
they are to a point.
To a point. That's why I said I was going to throw that in there, but I was like, debatable. Like cheap safety glasses are better than safety squints, but when a friggin' cutting disc explodes in your hand and it a piece like goes halfway through your safety glasses and then stops, you really, really, really want to buy the expensive ones at that point.
So there are safety glasses and then there are ANSI rated safety glasses. As long as they are rated appropriately for the job you're doing, it doesn't matter if you buy cheap or expensive as far as the lenses go. They are rated to take an impact. They will take that impact. If they don't, hey, congrats. They failed their impact test that you did, and now you're going to be owed a shitload of money because they didn't meet their safety standards. So there you go. The benefits you get from the better safety glasses is you get better coverage on the top, sides, and bottom. They conform to your face better, and they usually have a larger variety of sizes specifically so they conform to your face better. Like my prescription, these are impact rated frames and lenses. These are not my safety glasses, but they can work as a safety glasses. My safety glasses, they have an eye cup that actually completely contacts all the way around my eye because of the grinding grit and stuff at work. Phenomenal. I use those things for everything now, but there are prescription safety glasses. They're going to cost you $150.
Yeah, so that's going to be my next little thing to deal with. Is I am very slowly getting nearsighted. I think I'm almost at the point of having to just suck it up and embrace it.
Man, I found I don't mind wearing glasses. I can see well enough to function day to day. I pass the driver's test without them. It's not an issue. But if I'm doing a lot of detail work, I get a headache if I don't wear them.
My problem is that if I'm tired or if it's very bright outside, I can see like inside the car crystal clear. Try to read that street sign that's a block and a half away. Can't even tell there's words on it. It might as well be Chinese.
Well, I mean, one of the things you could look into then is some prescription safety glasses.
Well, and I'd kind of already made up my mind that when I eventually suck it up, I'm just going to go ahead and like swing for the fences and get something that is impact rated so I can wear them to the gun range. And, I don't want to be in the situation of, I have to wear safety goggles on top of my glasses, with the exception of things like chainsaws and, things where I need a little more protection than the glasses.
In that case, just go with a face shield over your glasses.
And I do anyway. But like when I'm running a chainsaw, I have a face shield on top of safety glasses.
Yeah.
Because I have this thing about wanting to have both my eyeballs.
And man, I've seen some pretty gnarly eye injuries. Hard pass. I mean, the Oakley's makes a really good, these are a metal framed glass. I don't even think they make these frames anymore. I've had them for so damn long. But Oakley makes some pretty good metal framed prescription glasses that are safety. They're ballistic rated.
Yeah. Anyway, what do people need? But it's all crap. I only have one thing in here. I'm sure you have something else.
What you got?
Cars. Modern cars.
I disagree.
You can disagree and be wrong at the same time. That is within bounds.
Okay.
So what I have seen as a broad trend across the automotive industry, there's no debating that prices have gone up precipitously.
They have.
Okay. There's also a mounting wave of evidence to show that things like fit and finish, like rattles, like panel gaps, things that used to be pretty well understood and accepted, like this is a minimum level of fit and finish for a vehicle, even something like, I don't want to say an economy car, but like a mid-sized car, like a Toyota Camry.
Sure.
You expect a Toyota Camry to have all the panel gaps are the same. It looks like it was put together with some kind of care.
Yeah.
But what people are seeing on dealership lots now is that brand new vehicles look like they were thrown together by blind people. And then we have the rash of EcoBoost engines that are blowing up in Fords, the rash of 3.6 Pentastars are blowing up in Chryslers. We have all the transmission and transfer case issues in Jeeps. We have the rash of all the friggin' diesel engines, all the goddamn diesel engines in the little B diesels in your Dodge trucks, your Chevy trucks have all been friggin' exploding left, right, and center. Toyota's new V6 twin turbo apparently likes to shit main bearings.
That's good for it.
Nissan got the bright idea to take and put. You remember I showed you the Rube Goldberg machine, the variable compression ratio engine that Nissan's putting in the road. Which, by the way, it's a really, really cool engine design. Unfortunately, it also likes to shit main bearings.
Well, that's less than helpful.
Well, why would you put something with 3 times as much, as many reciprocating parts in it, and then put it in an economy car where people famously don't change their oil very often?
Well, that's a problem.
That's a lot of problems. So I guess what I'm saying is like there is this mounting evidence to show that as the price of vehicles has continued to go up and up and up, the quality control and the reliability has not been keeping pace. Now we're at the point where there are people financing $50,000 vehicles for up to 8 freaking years for a car that has a maximum lifespan of 100,000 miles.
Okay.
We're way outside the realm of like the good old days where you could buy like a 5-year-old used Toyota, drive it 300,000 miles, and you'd have it paid off for 7 or 8 or 9 years, by the way.
Well, I think that you are right to an extent. I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm not as much of a car guy. I think that a large portion of the price increase has been the government mandated forced technology in these cars.
That hasn't been helpful, but there's more.
I'm sure there probably is. And hey, like I said, I'm not a car guy. I'm really not. I like my truck. I like cars. They do useful things. I don't particularly understand them that well. I've never taken the time to really learn. I have so many other things that I use my time for.
So here's the thing, Nick. It's not, believe it or not, all the force technology, the safety features that the government mandated, which by the way includes like your backup cameras, your tire pressure monitoring systems. Let's see here. Every manufacturer is required to warranty their emissions devices for, I think, minimum 100,000 miles.
Okay.
I want to say I had heard that they were discussing putting blind spot monitoring, making that like standard across all vehicles in the U.S. I don't think that actually ended up happening though. But anyway, here's the thing about economies of scale. When you put a thing in every vehicle you make on a line, it gets cheaper to add that thing versus if you only add it part of the time. It actually
that's no doubt. Yeah, for sure.
Now, do you know what the real driver for a lot of the cost increase has been?
I'm guessing inflation.
Government mandated fuel targets.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing.
That changes how they have to make the energy works.
Well, not just
the engine works.
But it's worse than that. So forcing manufacturers to consistently ratchet up their fuel economy forces them to make a lot of design compromises. And here's the thing.
Increases a lot of costs.
Yeah, it not only that, but at a certain point, like here's the thing, if you want an engine that makes 10 out of 10 power and 10 out of 10 fuel economy and 10 out of 10 noise and vibration and 1 out of 10 cost, guess what you have?
Nothing.
The word impossible. So what manufacturers do is they say, if we want more power, it's got to cost more, it's going to make more noise, and the gas mileage is going to go to shit. Or we're going to, it's like the old slider bar toy where when you move one slider up, all the rest come down. Like that's how this compromise works in engineering. So the problem is the government has said, thou shalt make better gas mileage or you will not sell in the US. So the manufacturers have no decision there. It has to be done. And at the same time, the buying public is demanding, we want good fuel economy, we want low noise, we don't want a lot of vibration, we want this, we want this, we want this. And the only lever the manufacturer has left to balance the scale out is cost through the ceiling and reliability is coming down. And that's the ugly truth that a lot of people in the car industry and a lot of people that, because like I do follow cars because it was it was for a lot of years, that was going to be the industry I was going to sink my career into. And I'm seeing as they try to push all the needles to the max. Like I personally, just as an anecdote, what I think is going on with like this most modern Toyota V6 that twin turbo V6 that Toyota's having all these problems with, my suspicion, because what Toyota has said is they had a manufacturing defect where they left some machining debris in the oil passages.
It's easy to do.
It's easy to do, but that doesn't usually just take out your main bearings. It goes everywhere.
I was going to say that tends to take out your oil pump first.
Well, here's the problem. Those engines are not grenading cam bearings, and they're not grenading rod bearings. They're only grenading main bearings, and that's weird. And the problem is once one's blown up, you can't tell if the debris came from the bearings or if it was already in there.
Oh, yeah, because when a bearing goes, it tends to throw debris everywhere. And it turns out metal bearing pieces look an awful lot like steel chips.
So kind of what I'm thinking is happening, and I think this, by the way, this is probably also what GM has done because, they've had a massive engine recall recently. They've had a huge engine recall with a lot of their 5.3 liter V8s that come in a lot of their half-ton trucks and their Tahoes and the Suburbans. I think all these manufacturers got into the trap of we have to make better fuel economy, but we can't sacrifice anything else. So I think these idiots all resorted to the oldest trick in the book.
Cheapest parts possible.
Huh?
Cheapest parts possible.
Worse than that. So years and years and years ago, I had a buddy who used to friggin' drag race, and his secret sauce for making more power than anybody else can make out of that displacement was he rebuilt his own engines, and he rebuilt his engines frequently. He ran the bearings at the minimum tolerance he possibly could, as loose as humanly possible. It worked for a short period of time.
Yeah, because then you're just going to spin the bitch, lock it up, and no, that's not good.
But as long as you pop that engine and replace those mains and rod bearings all the time, those things revved faster and made more power, had less drag, they had less mechanical loss. It works. And I think every one of these manufacturers is doing the same stupid thing. I think they're all running their bearing clearances too loose. They're all running as thin an oil as humanly possible, trying to boost fuel economy.
I have heard of cars now running on like zero weight oil.
Zero W20 and zero. Yeah. Dude, my dad just got a friggin' new Highlander. I want to say it runs like 0W13 or something like that. It's like water.
No.
Now, I can't prove any of this, by the way. This is just like my armchair mechanic. I suspect this is what's going on. But I know that all these engines are eating bearings left, right, and center. And that's only caused by a couple of different things. One is you spec'd entirely the wrong freaking bearings in that engine. They're too soft. You're running too thin of oil and too little pressure, or you're running your bearing clearance is too big,
or your temperatures are getting too high.
And that's another thing. These manufacturers have been doing that for years, running the engine temperatures. Like my engine, 179 up to about 190 degrees Fahrenheit. It's pretty happy anywhere in there. If it's in the summer, which by the way, summers down here are freaking brutal, and you're going up a hill for a while, like pulling a load, like you'll see a $196 on the dash.
Sure.
But I've seen vehicles that regularly run to 200 plus because the hotter you get the cylinder heads, the more complete of a fuel economy, a fuel burn you get. So there's less emissions. It makes sense. It makes total sense. But the point is, I see these manufacturers sacrificing reliability to try to make all the needles move up at the same time.
Well, you'd have to run looser bearing clearances too if you're running a hotter engine anyway because of the thermal coefficient of expansion. Interesting. I mean, it makes sense because it makes a lot of sense that could be what it is. I mean, that'd be one reason why it's the main bearings, and the main bearings exclusively that seem to be blowing up on everything lately.
But here's my frustration. Gen 4 LS small blocks in like your early 2000s Chevys.
Okay.
200,000 mile engine. Easy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
250,000.
If you took care of it, no problem. Yeah.
I've seen people pull those things out of friggin' trucks and junkyards, slap a turbocharger on them, and stick them in something a little bitty and make a ridiculous amount of horsepower.
Oh, yeah.
Those engines take a whooping and keep going. Toyota has 500,000-mile trucks all over the road. Now you're telling me these guys can't figure out how to make a friggin' twin turbo V6 that doesn't shit its bearings inside of 50,000 miles?
Different engineers.
Okay.
You know, the original engineers are all dead now.
GM's latest run of their new generation of V8, which has cylinder deactivation, variable ham timing, and yada, yada, trying to eke out all the fuel economy they possibly can. Yeah, those things have been known to lock up at 8,000 miles before they're even due for their first oil change. Which, by the way, the manufacturer's telling everybody 10,000 mile oil change intervals.
Fucking why? Oil is dirt cheap.
Because it calculates into your lifetime ownership cost. And if you can stretch out the fluid package a little further, then it lets you say that it wouldn't cost you X amount of 1,000 miles over the lifetime of the vehicle.
I can't remember the last time I got an oil change, how much it cost, but I got an oil change, wipers, fluid top off, and a bunch of other things, and a tire rotation on my truck. And I don't think it was more than $70.
Now, here's the thing of it.
Jeff, that could be true. I don't know.
Well, no, I will. So when we talk about diesels, I will 110% agree with Jeff that the environmental regulations, the friggin' the DEF fluid, the regen, everything like old school.
You know what DEF fluid is, right?
It's piss.
Yeah, it's chicken piss.
Yeah. But you got to bear in mind, like, dude, think about like old school diesels, like from the late 90s, early 2000s. Those things were, I mean, it
wasn't broke in for the first 500,000 miles.
Yeah, but my point is that they were dirty and they were loud and they were cantankerous, but they lasted for freaking ever. Modern diesels are driven around by drama queens at malls, and they break if you spit on them.
Yeah.
Unless, like Raggle said, delete the daggum things. Or 7.3 power stroke. It'll outlive you and your children, probably.
More than likely, yeah.
But again, so like that's why I throw modern cars in here. I've watched the car like I'm sitting on a 2015 Tacoma. I don't think I'll ever replace it willingly. It's reliable. I know of at least 2 500,000-mile Toyotas with 1 GRs that are on the road today. So the truck's got good bones to it. It's paid off. It's simple. There's not a lot of text. There's not a lot of stuff to go wrong. And most of the stuff that can go wrong, I know how to fix.
That's fair.
But I look at that, and then I look at the modern Tacoma, which, by the way, is like a $42,000 vehicle base model.
Yeah.
Already having issues left, right, center, not as durable as the older Tacomas were.
And that was the whole selling point behind the Tacoma, too, was the durability of it and the affordability of it.
Yeah. But anyway, so yeah, I'm going to say modern cars. Modern cars, everybody needs a car. They're all crap. I cannot think of a single like new vehicle for sale today that I would willingly get into.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I don't know enough to adequately comment.
See, my problem is that if someone did that to me, said you must pick a new vehicle today, my immediate gut feeling is, why can't I just go get something used? They're cheaper. They're almost certainly better quality. They're put together with more care, and they're more reliable.
That's fair.
Yeah,
that's fair.
So what else do people have to have, and it's all crap? New construction homes, or is that just like way too
well? People have made crappy construction homes with shitty construction techniques for as long as they've been building houses. The only benefit to an older house is it hasn't fallen down so far.
So far?
No, seriously, that's really what it is. I mean, my first house that I bought was built in 1946, and when I opened up the walls, some of the king studs were made out of 8 pieces. Okay,
but those were 8 really stout pieces, Nick.
Some of them weren't even nailed together. So, the house hadn't fallen down yet. So it's probably not that bad. Granted, that house had been on fire at least once in its life before I bought it. But, it didn't fall down while it burned, and it didn't burn to the ground. It's whatever. But that's really all it is survivor bias. A lot of the modern constructed homes, yes, the interior fits and finishes are not nearly as good, but that's down to the square footage demands that the public has right now. Everybody wants a bigger square footage number instead of a quality square footage. Because finishes are expensive. Finishes are really expensive.
That's sad, though.
But a lot of clothes are really absolutely ass. I think the last couple times I went to buy undershirts before I started buying this particular brand of undershirt, we went to, I think it was Kohl's where we were getting them. I went through 5 or 6 of them on the rack before I found one that didn't have like a hole in the seam already, or the fabric wasn't damaged already. Yeah, Kohl's is not a premium place, but it used to be a place, like when I was growing up, it was a place to go to get affordable but still reasonable quality clothing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I just see the fabric is just so damn thin on a lot of these clothes.
Here's Raggle with the layup. Phones.
Yeah, I don't know. I've had my phone for probably about 5 years. It's been pretty okay so far.
But you do acknowledge that you holding on to a phone for 5 years, you are already not the norm.
True. I also acknowledge the fact that this is probably the second longest I've owned a phone before I have smashed it doing something I shouldn't.
See, you are with phones the way I am with sunglasses.
Mm-hmm.
I refuse to buy expensive ones because they don't survive very long.
Do you remember the Razr flip phone, Phil?
I never had one, but yes.
I got one when it first came out. The original first-gen Razr phone with the all-metal case on it.
That'd be worth some money these days if
Phenomenal
you hadn't broken it to splinters.
Well, I didn't break it to splinters. I ran it over with a skid loader. Well, it got ran over with a skid loader. I wasn't driving on a gravel road. It smashed it to absolute shit. But I had that phone for from the time I was 17 to 23. It was a really good phone. It was fantastic. And then I went through a phone every 4 months, basically like clockwork. Despite buying the Motorola at the time had their contractor grade phone, their construction phone it was supposed to be extremely durable. It was supposed to be completely waterproof. It wasn't. If you flipped the phone open, just like with your thumb, you could snap the screen off in just the inertia from flipping the phone open. You could throw the screen right out of the phone. It was hilarious.
That's
terrible.
Suboptimal.
Oh, it was super terrible. But I don't know, man. It was not great.
All right. So what is still a good buy? Like what is out there that a person could still get their needs met and get things they need without getting fleeced?
Ironically, I don't have clothing.
Huh?
Ironically, I'm going to say clothing again.
I will kind of go with clothing too. I will just say that
some clothing is really great.
Yeah. I will say that I have really fallen into Wrangler for a while.
Wrangler, I have actually been willing to buy again very recently. I think they have an ATG canvas series of pants that are just fantastic. And I am around very abrasive stuff all day. Ooh, Jeff's got a good one. Stainless steel water bottles.
Ah, yes.
It's kind of hard to go wrong with a stamped steel construction of anything. Because, I mean, you can see this one is no longer flat on the bottom. My wife hates it, but it still holds water. That's all I needed to do.
Rag saying land. I will say that 90% of the time you're right. Land is always a good buy. They're not making any more of it.
That's true. They are not making any more of it, but they sure tax you out the ass for it.
Yes. So I don't even have specific items for what is still a good buy. I just have buying advice.
Yeah. I would say, yeah, buy secondhand's not a bad option.
Dude, buying used almost always works out in my favor, with very few exceptions.
I am a huge proponent for buying dead people's stuff.
Estate sales.
Yeah, because look, the people want it gone. They don't care what they get for it most of the time. They just care that you will haul it away today. Dead people's shit is way cheaper than live people's stuff. Because the people selling it probably care less about it than the person that originally bought it.
I will say that, like, lately, my daughter has developed this thing where she loves to go to thrift shops. They have
been ruined.
Not around here.
Oh,
dude,
I'm gotten to that stage yet.
Look,
brought that up too. Oops.
I'm gonna say that, like, her thing has become going to thrift shops. She loves to go thrifting for clothes, and around here, they actually have fairly nice clothes. Like, this is so I live in a fairly affluent, high cost of living area.
Sure.
So the stuff that finds its way into Goodwill and the thrift shops is still like several orders of magnitude nice. Mm-hmm. And most of it's never even been worn. It's still got the tags on it. I mean, it's ridiculous. But she enjoys, like with the clothes shopping. She can buy a couple of outfits for almost nothing.
Yeah.
And it scratches that preteen, like late 90s, early 2000s, I want to go to the mall and hang out with my friends thing, which is what her and her friends all love to do.
Good.
And I'm usually going because, like, so the thrift shop she goes to, there's sections where it's all like old vintage video games and magic cards and stuff like that. And I get to just stroll around and revisit my childhood. But I'm also always on the lookout for, like, that espresso machine that I know damn good and well costs a lot more than they have the tag on it for. And it just needs to come home with me and get some parts put into it and a good cleaning. And then I'm going to have a really nice espresso machine for nothing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, I go looking for stuff like that. That's like, okay, this is not like within the land of espresso machines, a cheap espresso machine is a few $100s brand new.
Sure.
An expensive one will set you back the cost of a used car. They can get cripplingly expensive. And I'm not even talking about anything like gold plate or fancy or anything. I'm just talking about a prosumer model.
Sure.
Will set you back $2,500 to $5,000. And then if you go looking at any of the the commercial grade stuff, like the stuff you'd have at your local barista, where it has like
10, 15 grand.
Oh yeah. Those are, I mean, they're $8,000 used.
I mean, look at my hobby machine behind me. To get something equivalent of this made brand new right now, you're talking 25 to 30K.
Yeah. But like I said, I go to thrift shops because I look for those kinds of things. Because, like, I would never spend $500 on an entry-level espresso machine or $5,000 on a really nice one. But I'd probably spend a tenth of that,
right,
in a split second.
Yeah.
So yeah, buy secondhand. Cars secondhand, underwear secondhand's a little ish. But I would say most things you buy secondhand, you let somebody else take the hit on the depreciation and knock the newness off of it, and you get to swoop in and grab it for a deal.
Yeah, a great one for that is if you're into UTVs and ATVs. The depreciation for a 2 or 3 year old model, it's quite astronomical. I mean, there's something weird I've noticed lately about used boats. People seem to be asking for absolutely insane money for used ones.
Oh, like prices.
Yeah, they're my wife says I have to sell the boat, so I have the boat listed for sale prices. Yeah.
Every time I hear someone say no lowballing, I know what I got. I just say a quiet little prayer in my head, like, I hope you die still owning this thing and your spouse sells it for what you told her it costs.
Yeah, that's for sure.
God, I'm a mean-spirited bastard.
Hey, you know what? I know what you got too, bud, and it's ain't worth what you think. Tools are a good one for that, for buying secondhand. Because there are a lot of tools out there that most people, like guy like me, even though I use them pretty heavily for not a professional, for just a home guy, my tools don't get anywhere near the number of hours on them that most people do. or that professionals do. So any tool that I'm getting rid of, heck, if it got used 10 hours in a year, that would be a ton.
Ooh, firearms.
Firearms are a great one. Used firearms, massively cheaper than new.
Police trade-ins.
Police trade-ins are phenomenal.
Carried often, fired rarely.
Mm-hmm. A little bit of holster rash, whatever. Mine are going to get that anyway.
Yep. Repair, free cycle, and upcycle. So within recent times, my daughter decided she wanted her room made over. She wanted us to get rid of the little kid room, and she wanted a teenager room. And in the process of doing this, she downsized her queen size bed into a twin bed so there'd be room for a couch for when she had friends over, which is actually a futon, but it was her vibe. She picked out everything, she did everything. Well, in the process of doing all this,
that is a reasonable choice.
But in the process of doing all this, I took apart her old queen size bed frame that I built from scratch. Because I originally built a queen size loft bed. And I overbuilt it slightly because just on the offhand chance my wife and I and my daughter all wound up in it at the same time, I built it to hold like comfortably 600 pounds.
Oh yeah, that's smart.
And then when
Especially if it's going to be off the ground.
And then when my dad looked at it, he said, "Phil, I think you slipped a zero in your straight in your calculations."
It's fine.
No, like he thought I overbuilt it.
There's no built like overbuilt, Phil.
Yeah, it was also lag bolted into the studs of the room.
That's smart.
Because
kids climb all over shit they shouldn't.
That loft bed would probably make an interesting engineering experiment because, like, I kept going through the exercise of like, well, a couple more studs couldn't hurt, and a couple more of those couldn't hurt, and then all the main beams are like 2x6s glued and screwed together. And all the slats are 2x4s, and it's decked in 1/2-inch plywood. Yeah, it was overbuilt like hell. But anyway.
Yeah, but you know what? You never had to take the girl to the ER because you underbuilt the bed.
And also, when I disassembled it, I have a pile of 8-foot long. I have a pile of 6 and 8 foot long 2x4s and 2x6s in the garage.
Nice.
All with just a handful of screw holes in them.
Perfect.
That is going to be the mount and everything for the water catch system that I'm putting in on the back side of the house.
That'll work.
Don't need to buy any freaking lumber, especially not at modern lumber prices. I got a whole friggin' wood pile sitting in the garage just waiting for a weekend.
Nice. That'll work good. Well, for a while. It's not treated, is it?
No, it's not.
That may be an issue down by you given the level of moisture.
Yeah. I had planned to like put standard thing up off the ground. Like I've got some concrete blocks and everything to keep it so it's not sitting on the ground.
Sure.
And I figure I'm probably also going to like end up hanging a tarp over the whole thing just to like shed the water. I'm trying to keep the wood dry, but I hear what you're saying.
I would recommend anything that is going to be outside, if you are not painting it or staining it, to go with treated. And if you're staining it, go with treated anyway.
Yeah.
Because you're taking your construction from a 5 to 10 year lifespan to 10 to 20 year lifespan. It's a pretty significant gain, especially where you are, where you don't get frost cycles to kill off the bacteria and the mold in the wood and slow the rot. You're in warm and damp all the time.
Pretty much. Although I did actually have something I built it during COVID. So yeah, that had been about 2020, 2021. It had just now rotted. And I know for a fact I didn't use treated wood for that because that was all reclaimed wood from something else.
Yeah, it's about 4 years, so it's not uncommon. So
I actually think part of it was fence planks. So God only. So those fence planks date back to when we bought the house.
Those would have been treated.
Yeah, but there was a bunch of there was also 2x4s in there that were not.
You'd be surprised. You know, most fencing material sold as fencing material is treated. You cannot get an untreated option.
Those 2x4s weren't from the fence.
Oh, okay. They were pre-cut studs or something.
Yeah, this was a bunch of crap wood I had lying around, and I just kludged something together. But it lasted 5 years before it rotted and fell over.
Well, that's all right.
Anyway.
I would just think if you're going to be bearing the load of the water, it'd be wise to go treated.
It might be.
Yeah.
But in any case, still free cycle, upcycle, finding things and repurposing them, reclaiming wood whenever you take something apart instead of just throwing it in the trash can. I even go so far, even though I know Nick's going to cringe when I say this, but I go so far as like I have an entire gallon Ziploc bag of old deck screws.
You do know there's such a thing called fatigue failure due to multiple times of torquing something, right?
I understand that.
Okay, I'm not gonna explain it to you like you're a child because I figured you understand. But
I understand, and I understand this is not the preferred method. But when I put them all into a board and I zipped them all right back out, they got plenty enough life left in them for little goofing around bullshit projects.
Probably. I mean, if it was going to be anything structural, you're not going to use screws anyway.
Oh, God, no.
Or you're going to use load-bearing screws, which are not the same thing as decking screws.
Nah.
They're way more expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although if I was going to do anything load-bearing, I'd also plan all my cuts in such a way that, like, you don't have... The only thing holding the thing up is not the freaking screws. You have, like, wood sitting on top of wood.
Well, yeah, you always want to do that, but there's such a thing. Okay, I assume you're familiar with shear loads.
But you casually say that as if everyone understands that. Not everybody does.
I say that because I expect you to understand that. You're one of my people. You understand these things. No,
Phil, the tism. He knows these things.
Right? It's important. We need that. No, the concern is like racking loads, side loads, shearing loads. Even though all of your wooden structure may be sitting on top of other wood and there's no direct load on the screws, the structure is going to move a little bit all the time. And yeah, Raggle, shear strength is far greater. I'm thinking I'm not sure what you're referring to on that, but shear strength of screws is lower than shear strength on nails. It just is. Unless you're buying the screws rated for that particular task.
But this is also why I never use just a fastener. I use fasteners and glue.
Mm-hmm. And the glue is usually stronger than the wood, and sometimes stronger than the concrete.
Yeah. I mean, you and I have talked through like some of the subwoofer boxes I put together back in the day when I was doing that as a home business.
They were aggressive. They were more durable than some roll cages I've seen.
I mean, there was one I put together that had 4 layers of 3/4-inch MDF for the outer wall.
That's a choice.
Well, it's a choice when you're trying to secure an 85-pound subwoofer.
Well,
you
also need
that has about this much magnet on the back of it.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, the front baffle on that box was 4 3/4 sheets of wood. But the actual normally what you do is you just have like you basically cut your outer faces big enough that like the subwoofer can kind of like set down into it. It's a style choice.
Yeah.
And then it actually mounts to a single 3/4-inch piece of wood.
Okay.
I, however, had trust issues. So I made the actual mounting surface 1.5 inches thick.
Oh, okay.
Which then meant I had to go and order special bolts to put it in because all the bolts I stock were like 1.25 inches because they're meant to go through a subwoofer basket and then a 3/4-inch thick piece of wood. So yeah, I had to go special order. What were they? 2-inch long, 1/4-inch cap screws that you put in with an Allen wrench.
Yep.
But
I have a bunch of those behind me.
Yeah, that box wound up being 120 pounds before you put the subwoofer in it.
That sounds about right.
Yeah,
MDF is not light.
It took up most of the back of a GMC Jimmy. It was quite impressive.
Nice.
But he wanted to run a DDZ-18, so the biggest freaking subwoofer the Digital Designs made at the time. Anyway, okay, just two more things, and these kind of go together. So support small businesses. And I'm not going to say all small businesses because some of them are run by assholes
Idiots.
who are, yeah. There's this thing where a lot of like boutiques and small businesses, they basically just buy crap off of Amazon, jack up the price 20%, and then turn around and resell it. I'm not talking about those small businesses. I'm talking about, shameless plug like Rebels Raiders, where it's a dude in his bedroom who
refuses to charge me extra money for the backpack I want.
We're going to continue to bully him about that.
I will bully him for that backpack until my backpack shows up.
But the point is that he's a dude in his bedroom. He's designed all this stuff. He's obsessively demanded that the quality be done to his liking. He's yeeted his own savings into this effort twice. He is a small business. He's a small business owner. He's a one man army.
Oh yeah.
If he decides tomorrow, screw this, I don't want to do this anymore, the whole business folds.
Yep.
Those are the kinds of businesses I say support because it's one dude kicking his butt, or it's like Refuge Medical or Medical Gear Outfitters, which is like a husband and wife team. Like it's all these businesses that are run by people who are in the community who are trying to provide a good product for as good a price as they can manage. They're small teams. They're usually families or they're run like families, and their goal is to do the thing.
Yep. We're not talking it as well as possible.
Yeah. We're not talking about Condor. We're not talking about Cry Precision. We're not talking about a big company that has, board members and shareholders and CEOs and all this crap. If you call the complaint line, you're talking to the dude who's packaging your order, who's the same one whose name is on the LLC.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the businesses I say we ought to all get behind and support.
The products tend to be higher quality. And businesses like that. It's like
either higher quality or lower cost, and sometimes both.
Shockingly both sometimes.
It's pretty impressive what you can do when you're not skimming off the the top and the middle and the bottom
when you have an organization that consists of 2 to 3 people, you have nowhere near the overhead to bury costs in.
Yep. And that's where I'm going to say personal recommendations, because I'm going to tell you that, I give Nick and the patrons quite a lot of crap, which they deserve mostly.
We do.
Because they have caused me to have to smash my piggy bank more than a handful of times. But I can't ever say, if I'm being totally honest and fair to them, that they've ever cajoled me into buying anything that was like crap. Like I bought Andrew's PBS 14,
which is decidedly better than average.
Anyone who's ever looked through it, who knows night vision, has been shocked at how good it is. It is a really, really nice single optic. If you had 2 of these things in a pair of duals, people would be, like dragging themselves over broken glass for it. It's a really nice optic. I'm not mad about what it cost. I wanted to get into a shotgun. Everybody beating my brains out about looking at a Beretta, either 1301 or 8300. I'm not mad about getting one. It's been a really great shotgun.
I have to say, the 300, shockingly good for the price.
Yep.
I was expecting less.
And the S-Tac hex shell cards have been awesome. The Scalar Works mount that Andrew recommended, because he's got the same thing on his 1301, has been absolutely awesome. Hell, I got a recommendation from nobody affiliated with the show or with any of y'all, but like someone years ago had turned me on to Air Socket Defense for their line of flashlights.
Yeah,
because they're Surefire compatible. You kind of build your own, and the Malkoff head. Like I'd gotten a recommendation from someone that basically said, "Look, like if what you're looking at is something like a Surefire Scout light, you'd really be hard pressed not to look at Air Socket Defense, because you can put together as good or better for the same money or less."
Right.
And I dropped $400 at Air Socket Defense. Now that's with the DS00 tail cap, which is a chunk all by itself, with the Unity switch, which was another $60, $70, $80. But just, I mean, I was in at about 220, 230 for the Malakoff head and the light body. And that light, I mean, you shine it down the street, dude, it's like turning night into day. It's impressively bright.
Well, I believe it.
But when I look back on all the things I've plunked down, like not inconsequential amounts of money on, a lot of it's come from personal recommendations. It was friends who had experience with this thing and said, hey, I think it's worth the money.
Yeah.
And I say friends, like, I'm very nervous, especially when you start talking about like the culture we're in right now with influencers, which sounds hilarious, come from guys on the internet, but I don't consider myself to be an influencer. Really, really don't. I hate the term. But I think that there's a lot of mistrust of influencers out there, which has been well earned at this point because a lot of them shill bull crap because they're getting a kickback for it.
Yeah, they're paid to like things.
Which... I'm talking about go to people you trust, go to friends of yours, people you've met in person, guys you've trained with, guys you've, like go to people who have no financial incentive to lie to you, and they don't have their ego is not tied to the thing. Because that's the other problem you run into, where people will say, well, I love this thing. It's the best thing since sliced bread, because every time they sell somebody one, it makes them feel better about the one they bought.
Yep.
But
you got fooled too.
Yeah. But I think if you can kind of honor all of those things, I think you can still find deals out there. I think you can still find opportunities to stretch your dollar. I think you can find ways to get the things you want and the things you need without fleecing yourself. But I don't know, Nick.
Do your due diligence.
Yeah. But how do you feel about the Buy Nothing rebellion, man? Like, is this commie anti-capitalist nonsense, or is this like a genuine response to just the economic situation we're in?
I think that it is both. The answer is yes. There are some people that it's the commie nonsense. It's poor me. I made bad decisions. I want the rest of you to make me feel better about it. So now we're starting this crap. I think that there are a lot of people that spend an inordinate amount of money compared to what they could. And that has a negative impact on their life. And if this gets them to a point where they are comfortable spending less so they can improve their quality of life and spend the money on something that is quality, that is going to improve their life, all the better. I mean, it's not buying something because it sucks or it's overpriced is capitalism.
Yep.
It's capitalism. Buy things with intention, I think is what at least some of the people behind this are trying to get at, is spend money intentionally and with forethought, and just not spending to spend. And I think that's a good thing. That's a good idea. It's something me and you both advocate for regularly on this show. Like, yeah, prepping can be expensive. Hobbies can be expensive. But if you do your due diligence, you can avoid unnecessary expense and still get the same value.
I mean, me personally, I look at the world around me, and I find that I have been unintentionally making that decision over and over and over. That really boils down to that's just not worth the money. Like, we don't go out to eat near as often. When we do go out to eat, we're not going to go get like fast food or crap, because for $10 more, you can feed the three of us something halfway decent.
Yeah.
I find that, like, yes, we're eating more at home because it's healthier for us, but we're also eating at home more because like $200 worth of groceries replaces $600 worth of eating out every week.
Oh, it's probably more than that.
Probably.
It's probably more than 600.
But I look at the car market, and I'm like, there's nothing out there for 50 or 60 grand that I think is going to make me feel better than this old truck that's paid off. Like, I look at the economy that we're in, and I look at the things around me, and I continue to come to the inescapable conclusion that I am making a judgment call on what I do and don't spend money on. And 99 times out of 100, the answer to the equation is not, oh, I can't afford that.
Right.
Not a brag, not even a humble brag. I'm a big boy. I save my money. Yeah. I can afford most things I want. Look, the reason I don't have a 338 Lapua Magnum in my house is not because I can't go dump several $1,000s at will to go get one tomorrow. Yeah. But the problem is I go through that cost benefit analysis of it's this much money, it takes it out of savings or it takes it out of this. And is the money better spent put it here versus there? Am I going to get $1,000 worth of fun out of this thing, or am I going to shoot it twice and then put it in the safe? It's that argument I have with myself every time about, is the juice worth the squeeze? And I would like to think that there's a segment of this population that is saying, no, it's not. And good.
Yeah, that's fantastic. They're making an educated choice, and I cannot do anything other than applaud them.
Yep. And all I can say in response to that is that, to the merchants, figure out how to get your prices lower or your quality up, or sell better wares that people are more interested in buying, because what you're selling, they're not buying anymore. And that should concern you. To the
capitalism at work.
To the auto manufacturers, your vehicles are sitting on the lot an average of 350 days before they get sold. That is a catastrophe in your industry, because no one wants to buy your cars because they are horribly overpriced and they're breaking down all the time.
I did not realize they're sitting 350 days.
Oh, yeah. Chrysler is leading the charge with that.
That's bad.
Yeah.
That's really bad.
I think Toyota is like the one manufacturer that still has a reasonable days on lot. But even theirs is up from what it used to be.
350 days.
Yeah, they've got...
That's an entire model year, just about.
Uh-huh. To the point where there are some vehicles that they're having to turn around and go into the shop immediately upon purchase, because things like, the coolant has sat too long and it's starting to corrode the inside of the block, so it needs a coolant flush, or it needs this flush, or needs that flush, or it needs a detail because it's sat out in the sun for a year straight.
Interesting.
Yeah, we could talk cars for a whole episode all by itself.
I did not know that. That's concerning from an economic standpoint.
I mean, it's concerning for the dealerships because they're buying all this. They're filling that floor plan on credit.
Cars. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, there was actually one Chrysler dealership that there was a clause in their contract with Chrysler that said that, like, basically if they folded up the dealership, that Chrysler had to purchase all the cars back from them. Chrysler tried to renege on it. They shut down the dealership. Now, this dealership owned like several different dealerships.
Sure, they shut down their least profitable one. Yeah,
they shut down the Chrysler one because they couldn't move any cars, and then they rehired all those people, the whole staff at other dealerships. Like no one went that job. They went to Chrysler and said, "Hey, take all these cars back." Chrysler fought them on it.
I bet they did.
A judge.
It was probably a few $1 million in cars anyway.
Oh, it was. A judge wound up having to tell him, "Suck it up. You this is your contract."
Good.
Yeah. Anyway,
contracts sometimes are enforceable, people.
Yeah, where was I? Oh, I mean, that's just all I could say. To the creditors, when everybody says your interest rates are too high, to the employers when people don't want to show up to work because you're paying crap wages or your work-life balance is terrible, like, welcome to capitalism, everybody. It doesn't just affect us, it affects everybody. So if no one's buying your stuff, there's a lesson to be learned there. And if no one's showing up to work when you put out a help wanted sign, there's a lesson to be learned there. And for God's sakes, please stop spending money like children. And when the money don't make sense, just stop buying it. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying buy nothing, and I'm not even saying rebel. I'm just saying quit being an idiot.
Just do your due diligence. Buy intentionally.
Yep. All right. Anything else to chuck in here, or have we turned an entire topic out of a relatively simple discussion yet again?
Oh, we can do that with just about anything.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll sew this up. It's 9:18 at night. I've got a nice early rise in the morning. I'm sure Nick does too. For the
4:30.
listeners, thank you all for following along with us. Thanks for those of you who watched the stream. If you have topics or if you have questions or you have something you want us to cover, no raggle, you cannot borrow my night vision. Go buy your own and then we can be nerds together. Then you should leave a comment or you should reach out to us and we will turn a discussion into it. But you have to let me know up front, is it a coffee conversation or a whiskey conversation? Because those are two very different conversations.
They are. And we will come equipped for either one, sometimes both.
Both is dangerous.
Both is fun.
Funny dangerous.
Yes.
All right. Matter of fact's going out the door. Good night, y'all.
Good night.
Oh, and there's actually an outro.